All right, y'all. Welcome to another installation of the Faithful Visionary Project. Today, we are talking about reasoning and your rational mind and the anxieties that we find ourselves navigating as we are in the world of trying to manifest our greatest desires. And the big thing that I want you guys to really get. In fact, before we even get started, I want y'all to, as y'all listen from your imagination. Listen from the ideal person that you already are. Okay? Just as y'all are listening, assume, even despite whatever happened today, whatever
Was
happened
that
last
tire
week.
connected to the air system?
Oh, hey, your microphone is on. Um, as y'all are listening, I want y'all to really consider that you already are the person that you want to be. And what you're doing here is a reminder. You're going to find gold in today's presentation. So y'all listen, y'all be still, be ready to share your insights at the end of the conversation, of the presentation. And also, um, see if you can't even come up with a good question to ask that we can later dive a little deeper into. So again, listen from the standpoint that you already are healed. You already have the ideal relationship. You already have the ideal bank account. So let's dive right into it. That which concerneth me, the Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. Today we are covering a chapter from Walter C. Lanyon's book, The Temple Not Made with Hands. And again, today's lecture is about all that anxiety that you're holding on to, all the human thinking that you have to figure out how you're going to make this thing happen. This is what today's is about, that which concerneth me. So what concerns you? What's on your mind? What are you thinking about? Whatever it is that you're thinking about, it's your reasoning that you're dealing with. And your reasoning and your anxiety are are not exactly what you should be using to govern your life. Okay? Human reasoning is inherently limited because it's basing everything on the results of your failures or your frustrations. It can't grasp the full scope of God's working wonders. Or, and let's put it another way, since we study the law of assumption, when you assume a new state, let's say I am healed, the outside world isn't going to have that proof for you, and neither is your reasoning mind. Like, okay, I need to go on this diet, or I need to take this medication, or I need to go to that gym, or whatever it is. If you're coming from your human thinking or your old man thinking, if you're coming from your human thinking or your old man thinking, you are trapping yourself when there are infinite possibilities as to how that thing is going to come to pass. All right. So that which concerneth me from the human sense, this is what Walter C. Lanyon has to say. He says, from the human sense of the word is much. Who will deliver me from the body of this death? is the wail of the soul trying to escape the ugliness that which concerns him. Leaning upon the broken reed of human reasoning, man tries to lift himself about the terrible onslaught of fears, but he knows he is being pierced by the reed and is only putting off the day of wrath. Yet the promise, the Lord will perfect that which concerneth me, but how? And the human reasoning again forged this promise impossible of fulfillment. So you don't know how. You want to know how. You want to know what you can do. You want to do all that. But like he said, you're grabbing onto a twig essentially, trying to lift yourself up out of quicksand. It will eventually break to all your effort. And that's not what we want to do. That's why we keep finding ourselves spinning on that hamster wheel and repeating the same old patterns or finding yourself frustrated and exhausted because you are trying to figure it out from your human point of view. You're trying to figure it out from your old man state. If you were already the person that you wanted to be, you would just be it. You would be doing the things that you would need to do, and you would be having the things that you would want to have. So I'm going to encourage you guys to abandon yourself, joyfully release the need of control. Like, let it go. You know, the Christians would say, you know, trust in God, which is what I say, actually. Anytime you're triggered, go home. But trust that that power, the power and the wisdom that created and sustains the universe is what is moving through you. It is what is moving through you. So you must have a joyful trust and not let it be a passive, you know, a passive thing, but a joyful knowing, a joyful recognition, like we talked about last week. And if you can truly find that joyfulness, it will be a relief. It will be a lifting of weight from your shoulders. You'll be relaxed. You'll be calm. You won't be so trapped by your human thinking. Walter C. Lanyon says, a great sweep of joy and light covers you when you arrive at the place of acceptance, wherein you recognize that God is able and capable of running the universe without any human aid or assistance, and that the wisdom you are about to expound on, the subject of the government of your life, will be hedged in by the limitations of your findings from the appearances, which are faulty. So your limited thinking, the way you know how to make something come about, and so on and so forth, it's just not going to get it for you. But if you can get into that state and just experience that light, that joy, that the joy of it, the acceptance, like, ah, yes, I already am that person. It's super powerful. And that's where I want y'all to be persisting in the recognition that you already are this person. Accept it. Perhaps you have a job that has you wanting to drive trucks because that's what you're used to. That's how you're used to making money. But you have a dream of doing sales, car sales. You want to do classic car sales, but you're You've never lived that life before. It's just like, it's just a pipe dream. Well, a great sweep of joy and light covers you when you arrive at the place of acceptance, wherein you recognize that God is able to. God is able to. From this standpoint, where I'm standing up until this now moment, no way I could figure it out. But right now, I recognize that God, who is I am in me, knows the way. We talked about this a couple weeks ago in Prepared Place. He's prepared a place for us. So you must persist in that state and abandon yourself to that inner government. Because as long as you believe that reason or logic can provide a way out of your struggles, you'll continue to rely on them. So as long as you keep believing in the reason and the logic of your old man way of thinking and doing, and that's going to try, you can tell from experience, you keep trying and trying again, only to find yourself more frustrated, but you keep relying on it. So instead of struggling to make things work through like beating it down, anxious reasoning, like, oh, what about this and what about that? Rest in the knowledge that you already are that person, and that the higher power, that God governs everything perfectly. Every state is run perfectly. Walter C. Lanier says it this way: you cannot cast your anxieties on him unless you have come to the conclusion that human reasoning cannot do anything for you. As long as you feel there is a way to escape through reason, you will attempt it. But when you arrive at and understand that I have a way you know not of as being possible with you, then you will abandon yourself to this inner government. The government shall be upon his shoulders. What a glorious rest and surcease from the struggle of trying to make the government run smoothly. So anytime you're finding yourself up against the wall, really frustrated, man, that's an awesome moment in time for yourself, because that's the moment you can surrender. I don't know how, but I don't need to know how. I don't have to have a reason why it's going to work or why it's not going to work. I can just trust. I can trust and put the government. What is the government? It is the control of mind. Government means mind control. So the government shall be upon his shoulders. So the control of your mind is on God's shoulders. So when you can accept that the government, the mind control, shall be on his shoulders, meaning that life's outcomes and concerns are governed by God, you're going to stop trying to manage everything through personal effort, right? Because you're resting in the knowledge that God is there. Who is God? I am. And you'll be realizing that you're capable of handling everything perfectly because everything is perfect because of who I am. I already am the person that I want to be. I don't need to worry about anything. The worrying person is the old man or the external man, the 5 cents man. Walter says it this way. He says, not on the shoulders of the human mind, but upon the shoulders of the Christ, upon the Father within, not upon an imaginary power, but upon the power of God made flesh. Yes, the government shall be upon his shoulders. The government of your life, when you once can recognize this and stop trying to assume the power yourself. We talk about the power of assumption. Really, once you assume that you already are that person, that's all you need to do. You don't need to try to assume the power. You are the power. So when you have complete trust in your divine power, in your imagination, in God, the change you're looking for can occur in an instant because it's shifting the focus from that anxious striving to that joyful trust. The results will always be there because signs follow, they don't precede. The signs don't precede. So you have to be in that state in order for you to see any signs in the first place. Because if you are that person, you would have it. Do you begin to see how the recognition of this power explodes the flimsy reasoning that has tried for so long to make the automatic power, which has a way that ye not know of, do its bidding? If the Lord is to perfect that which concerns you, he must do it in his own way and after his own design, and any help from you will merely be a hindrance. The thought which knows definitely that it is 4 months until the harvest can offer little assistance to the consciousness which says, look again, the fields are white. So, said in a different way, your human reasoning says it's going to be 6 months till this project is complete or till I get hired at blah, blah, blah. Well, consciousness says, look again. You already have the job. It says, look again. You already have the ideal diagnosis. Look again. You already are with the person you want to be. Look again. You're already in your house. Even if the real estate agent says you can't afford it, or the loan officer says we can't offer it to you, you already are in the house. You've been in the house and you will continue to be in the house of the Lord. I'm kidding. So all of this is to say that you guys should be putting your imagination above reason, infinite possibilities over limited measures, completion versus I don't know how. When you have complete trust in the divine power, the change or result can occur in an instant. I said this in the last page. Oh, that's because I didn't move my slides. Yeah, got it. Sorry, I was repeating myself. So again, back to trusting in God. If you can't see where you're going, you kind of have to just trust the light. You can't see the path that you're going to take to get there. When you get there, you'll look back and be like, yeah, there's no way I could have devised this. So if you can recognize that now, the anxiety should surpass, the frustration should pass, the worry should pass because you already are in that state. And the way you can come to recognize it is by being still. Find those moments to slow it down. Don't be in such a quick hurry to make something happen with your human reasoning, thinking, and logic. Walter says it this way, and we'll close out. Believest that I am able to do this unto you requires an answer so sure and certain that the government of a lifetime is shifted instantly on the automatic power, which immediately corrects the mistakes of the human reasoning. Be still, be quiet, rest a moment in the consciousness of this transcending power, and you will feel the whir of the inner wings, the cosmic urge in the eggs, even now trying its wings, the quickening shaft of warmth of love, which sets the thing in motion and causes it to come into being. Through the hard shell of the human reasoning enters the warmth of the God, love, and the stirring of wings is felt and heard while yet they are invisible. Ultimately, what we are saying here is I get that you're frustrated. I get that you're feeling overwhelmed. I get that you're overthinking, even. Well, what does this mean and what does that mean? Sure, by all means, ask me, ask others in the group. That's great. That's actually fantastic because our job is to point you in the right direction. But if by chance you aren't with us and you're hanging out with your friends or your doctor or at the loan officer's office, and they're giving you the negative news, or so it seems, can you leave the anxiety at the door and recognize the presence that that which is concerning you is nothing? It's nothing. But you have to actually know this. You guys are awesome. Peace and hair grease.